Hi, everyone, and welcome to our first Ask the Expert session of 2022 for the EA Campus. I am Nikki Christmas. I'm the founder of the EA Campus and Practically Perfect PA, and I'm delighted to welcome our community to our first, in fact, live event of 2022. So, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Mindy Marzek, a blogging social media coach at Joy Social. And before we dive into our questions, which I know we have quite a few of, Mindy, why don't you introduce yourself and let our community know a little bit about you?
Yeah, thank you so much, Nikki. I'm very happy to be here and meet everyone in your community. Just I'll say right up the top, feel free to reach out to me anytime on social media or email. I'm always happy to help answer questions. But yes, my name is Mindy Marzek. My business name is actually Fairy Tale Social. I recently rebranded. So you can find me at fairytalesocial.com. And I have a podcast called Influencer Education. You can find me on Instagram also at Influencer Education. And then, yeah, I've been doing social media coaching and influencer marketing coaching, content creation coaching for about 5 or 6 years now. And aside from that, I am a full-time blogger and writer and content creator. So I do keep myself busy, but I really love talking about content marketing, influencer marketing, and I love helping people learn social media. So super happy to be here. Thank you, Nikki.
Oh, thanks so much for joining us. And I know how busy it keeps you creating all of that content. Doing that myself, I know that
Yeah.
it's a full-time job just coming up with ideas for content. So
Yeah, and the thing is it never stops. You have to keep doing it every day.
well, I know we'll come on to that. I know consistency surely is absolutely key to social media marketing. And
Yes.
it really is something that assistants are asked to do more and more often now. And it has been for a few years, but I think particularly for virtual assistants, it almost becomes an inevitable part of the brief that assistants will get asked to pick that up for their clients. And I think it's becoming more the case now for executives working in large organizations to want a social media presence. And again, that will be their assistant will be asked to manage that for them. So I have an absolute ton of questions for you, and I want to dive straight in. And I know this is a popular question because it's something that we cover quite a lot in our sessions, and that's the tools and technology that assistants should be using to manage multiple social media accounts. So, Mindy, if there is any tools or technology you can recommend, that would be fantastic.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you that my number one tool, maybe I'm a little bit old school, but my number one tool is a physical planner. I write everything down still. I know that a lot of people don't like to do that. They want digital, which is totally
Nope.
fine. See, yes, my
Yeah.
people. Yeah, I have my physical planner and I use it. I have it by my side at my desk all the time. I actually take it to bed with me. So if I have something a thought in the middle of the night, I can get up and write it down because that's when we get our best social media ideas, right? Is while we're sleeping or we're in the shower or we're driving. So I always have my notebook by me and I jot my notes down in that. I also use a tool called Notion. That's a digital tool. It's a planning tool. It's similar to Asana is another one, but it's basically a project management tool. And I also jot down my social media ideas in there. They also have a calendar function. So if you're more digital, you can set up a calendar function and kind of cross tie your or connect your ideas to a date or a platform or something like that. That's a little complicated. We're not going to get into that. But I use the physical notebook and Notion. As far as tools go with like maybe scheduling or automation, one thing I really want to impart on people who are doing social media marketing is automation isn't necessarily the best marketing tool. With social media, you really should be more present and really trying to make a connection with your audience. And automation tool kind of takes that connection away. So it's fine to plan out content and it's fine to schedule content, but I just want to give that disclaimer up front because if you automate everything, you're not going to make that connection with people and they're ultimately not going to become clients or customers of your product or service. So with that being said, Facebook has a great tool called Business Suite, and you can connect all of your pages and your groups under one platform under Business Suite. And you can even connect your Instagram, because remember, Instagram is owned by Facebook. So you can connect all your Instagram accounts and all your Facebook accounts and have it in one spot. And you can plan your content there. There's a calendar view or there's a list view. So you can just schedule everything in there. Facebook really doesn't play well with third-party schedulers, so I can't recommend that. I think Business Suite itself is a great tool. Furthermore, with Instagram, for regular feed posts, you can schedule drafts right there. So what I like to do is I do a lot of batch content. I batch my photos and my videos, and I save them as drafts. So when I have a day where I'm like, what am I going to post today? I can go to my drafts, find something that I already got semi-ready, finish the caption, do some final edits, and I can push that out. So I definitely recommend that for Instagram and Facebook. I'm not sure if there's any other platforms you want me to cover, Nikki, so just let me know if there's a certain platform that your community uses. But yeah, I figure Instagram is the most popular one right now.
Yeah, for sure. I think the only one for assistants who work with corporate clients or work in corporate organizations, it'll be LinkedIn, I would imagine. Yeah. And again, but I think LinkedIn is similar to Facebook in that sense, isn't it? That it doesn't quite work as well with third party software.
Yeah. And LinkedIn does have its own native scheduler, so you can schedule posts that way. But again, the more you can be present on your channel when you're posting, so that way if people reply, it actually does help your post with the algorithm if you're responding to comments right away. If you can do it more in real time, you can definitely do that. What I personally like to do is kind of get things ready in a draft, and then I'll publish it when I have a minute to sit down and interact with people. So yeah.
That's brilliant. Thank you for that. I'll make sure that we add those few suggestions to the chat afterwards, and I'll add it to the notes so that you can check out Notion and the other suggestions that you made within Facebook and Instagram. I think people get worried that they can't, particularly assistants, that they can't plan ahead, but it's nice to know that you can plan ahead within the actual social media platform. I think that's super helpful.
I think that you have to plan ahead to be successful and to maintain your sanity. Like, you have to plan ahead. There's always going to be things that come up, like breaking news or a new product or, something that might come up. Obviously I really frown upon, scheduling a bunch of stuff and then ignoring it, because if something happens in the world, you don't want to, as a brand, seem insensitive because all your scheduled content is going out. But I'm a huge fan of drafting content, getting stuff ready. So you've done 90% of the work at a time when you have the time and you're feeling creative, because we don't always feel creative and you can't really force it. So if you can batch create your content and just have it ready to publish and just do that last like 10% to get it ready, then I think that's just going to help everybody so much. It at least helps me.
Yeah, I think as you were saying, it really helps to have those strategies in place, because before you know it, you could have spent all day on social media, because
it happens.
It happens a lot.
It happens to me too. Even though I've been a blogger for 10 years, I still lose myself. And then I think, oh my gosh, why did I open my app? So it happens to everybody.
I think you do have to put strategies in place just to cope with the addictive nature of it, for sure.
Yeah, it is.
But that's what I'd like to come on for our next question. I know you've talked about batching and scheduling, but I wonder if there are any other strategies that you put in place. I think, as I said, assistants are all about planning and making sure that they have everything covered. So any additional strategies that you could recommend for assistants would be great.
Yeah, sure. So I definitely recommend having a schedule if you're feeling like you're kind of like lost out at sea and you're not sure when to post or what to post, especially if you're managing different platforms. I really do recommend having some kind of schedule. Now, I've been doing this for so long that I don't necessarily need so much structure, But I did at when I was kind of starting to do both blogging and coaching, and I just needed to manage my time a little better. So I actually created some tools that can help you out. So if it's okay, Nikki, I can give a link that people can go to. Um,
Absolutely.
it's fairytalesocial.com/toolkit, one word, toolkit. And if you join my email community, you can get this free toolkit that I put together that has a bunch of goodies in it. But one of the things is a printable weekly schedule. So what you can do is you remember I'm old school, so I print things out and I handwrite them. But you could also recreate that format in a Word document or somewhere else. But you can it's a printable that you can print out and it has the days of the week on it. And what I actually do is I say, okay, Monday is the day I am going to prep my Facebook page posts. Tuesday is the day I'm going to draft a few Instagram posts and get them ready. So I schedule things by day. And then that way I have something to guide me. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that on Monday, on Monday, I might have to do an Instagram post for the client. But if I say, okay, Monday is my Facebook day, then I can get it done and I don't necessarily have to worry about doing the deep work for the rest of the week. So I highly recommend you go to fairytalesocial.com slash toolkit, fairytalesocial.com slash toolkit. And you can, again, sign up for my email community, get the freebie. If you don't want my weekly emails, I'm not offended. You can unsubscribe at any time. But they do have a lot of good tips in them. So I hope that you stick with me. But yeah, download it and get that toolkit. It has a lot of goodies in there that I think that you'll like. But I definitely recommend if for anyone who's struggling to stay consistent or just feels really overwhelmed, break it down by day. And you can even say, you know what, I'm going to give myself an hour to prep my Instagram posts. I'm going to give myself an hour to go through client photos. I'm going to give myself an hour to brainstorm reels and break it down into smaller chunks. And that way you'll feel less overwhelmed with all of the things that we have to do. Because I get it. I'm on like 5 different platforms. I have 4 different Facebook groups. I have 3 different Facebook pages. It's a lot. It gets overwhelming. So if I just say, okay, Monday is my Facebook day, then it feels I feel calm. I'm like, okay, I know what I'm supposed to be working on. I know what I'm supposed to be focusing on. So hopefully that helps.
And in terms of content, do you have any particular strategy around how to create the content for social media? Is there any tips that you could give there?
Yeah, sure. So you're obviously like I'm gonna pick a platform because it's hard to say like social media like so I'm just
Yeah.
gonna say Instagram. Instagram is like platforms within a platform, right? They have feed posts, they have reels, you can go live, you can do video, you can create guides. Oh my gosh. So, what I will do is, you kind of start using all the features. You don't have to use it every day, but on one day you post a photo, on another day you make a reel, maybe you try a live stream, and you kind of have to see what your audience likes
Mm.
because if your audience responds well to photos, but they don't necessarily like videos or they don't necessarily want to live stream, then you don't have to worry about using that or you can use it sparingly. So I think that for someone who's just starting out, you need to try all the features and see what people respond to because every audience and every niche is going to be a little different. For example, my main blog is about Disney. I'm a Disney adult and I love to go to Disneyland. And my audience are also Disney adults who love to go to Disneyland and they like all things Disney. So if I don't give them Disney content, they're not going to respond. If I go to a restaurant and I have the most beautiful salad in the world, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to take a photo of this salad and put it on my Instagram. It's amazing. People are like, no, we don't like that. We don't follow you for salad photos. We want Disney content. So you have to kind of take the direction from your audience and make sure that it's relevant to whatever your niche is. For LinkedIn, LinkedIn is a little different than Instagram. So people might want business tips. They might want links to inspiring articles. They might want memes. Everyone wants to laugh, especially if it's something related to their industry. So you just have to kind of test out these different types of content and see what people respond to.
Yeah, I think that's so true, and I think that's really worth kind of getting to grips to, isn't it? I think for assistants, having those conversations with their executives and the other people within their organization, well, what do you want to see? I think that will really help guide them for sure. And I would just also add, pick a platform to start with, see
Yes.
where your audience is, because then
Yeah. Like,
although
sorry.
you might love Instagram, it doesn't necessarily mean
Right. I'm so glad you brought
yeah.
that up because I see so many people who like are like, I have to be on Instagram even though I don't like it or I don't understand it. And it's just like, no, you don't. You don't have to be on Instagram if your people aren't on Instagram. If you brought up LinkedIn, if you're a business to business company, if you're doing B2C, your people might not be on Instagram. They might be, but you might have better reach on LinkedIn. So it's just about who you're targeting and the type of content you're creating. So, I mean, listen, social media marketing is marketing at its core. And you have to factor in all of the normal strategies that go along with marketing to have a successful social media presence.
Mm. And to move on to that aspect of it, because I think one thing that I mean, I know I've definitely been guilty of this. You put things out on social media, depending on the platform, and then it kind of disappears into the into the wilderness, and
Yeah.
you don't know. You've got a little bit of analytics towards the end of the post that you can see, but for a lot of people, I think it's just trial and error to see what kind of hits and what doesn't. So
Mhm.
I just wondered if you could give any tips or guidance for assistants to understand the engagement and impact they're having with their efforts.
Sure. Yeah. This is a tough one because everyone wants to know, like, how did the post perform? Was it successful? And unfortunately, when you're working for someone who doesn't quite understand social media, they might be disappointed that all of your posts aren't going viral. And that's just not how it works at all.
It's a shame.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be great if everything we ever posted was wildly popular? Yeah, it just doesn't work that way, or else we'd all be successful and I wouldn't be in the job I'm doing. um, but yeah, so that's just how it is. You're gonna have to, like you said, do trial and error. We talked about that before with trying different types of content. But then within that different types of content, there's also fine tuning exactly what your audience likes as far as the visual content, the caption, the call to action in your post. So yeah, I don't necessarily measure by likes or even comments because it's so easily manipulated. Um, that what I really want to look at is I want to look at saves, especially if it's a post where you're teaching something. If it resonates with someone, they're going to save it so they can reference it later. And then shares. Shares are kind of the big one because what that means is someone actually took the time, they saw your content, they loved it so much or it spoke to them so much that they wanted to share it with someone that they know. And that's really huge. That goes beyond just double tap and liking a piece of content. Someone wanting to share something, it just is so meaningful. I would rather have 10 shares on a post than 1,000 likes. Because then it shows that, like, oh, I really reached 10 people with this content. And then from there, you can look at that and you can use your Instagram analytics or Facebook analytics to sort by shares or saves or any type of engagement. And you can see the types of posts that people are really responding to, and that can help guide you in creating your future content. So I think saves and shares are really, really important. I also think that if you have a really strong call to action in your caption or in your LinkedIn post, the amount of meaningful comments that you get from that, because someone is actually taking the time to engage with you. And I think that's really, really important. So how strong are your call to actions? And then are you getting direct messages from people? I think people downplay the power of connecting with people via direct message. If you post something about a product that you're selling and someone has a question about it and they're DMing you, a lot of people would think like, oh, I'm getting all these DMs, I don't have time for it. No, that's good. Like, I
Mm.
mean, spam DMs are bad. We all get spam DMs, but someone taking the time to DM you to ask you a question, and imagine how excited they are when the brand responds to them personally. That's a customer for life you just got right there. So I think that, in short, I think DMs, saves, and shares are where the metrics are. So I would recommend paying attention to that for sure.
Mm. And is there any tools or I guess templates or anything that you could recommend where somebody could go on and package up a report or put together some kind of document that they can go and then share with whoever they need to share it with to show the impact that they're having?
Yeah. So I'm not quite sure of something that does that automated. There's a tool called Hype Auditor. Hype Auditor, you can Google it. I have no affiliation with them, but it is a paid tool, and you can put in different it's for Instagram. So you can put in different Instagram handles and it'll pull up various reports on that account. I don't know how in depth it gets as far as putting all that engagement tools. But honestly, it's super easy to take your phone, look at your insights, sort it by whatever you need to sort it by,
Mm.
and then just do a screenshot and be like, here it
Yeah,
is. These are
yeah,
these in the last 6 months, these are the top posts that got the most saves and shares. So
yeah, yeah. It's exactly that, isn't it? Actually, within the tools, within the platforms themselves, that the reports that they have are quite good just to be able to screenshot or print off or package up into a Word, a Google Doc or a Word document and send
yeah,
that off. Yeah, they're pretty. They are. It's fairly straightforward, I think, in that
it's
sense.
fairly straightforward. So you could do a screenshot, take that image, put it into your own PDF report or into an
Mm.
email, and you can spell it out for whoever needs to know. But yeah, I mean, without having to spend extra money on a tool, that it doesn't get much easier than that.
Mm. And I would definitely say to assistants who are watching this, it is absolutely important that you do share with your executive the reports that you are seeing and the analytics that you do see on social media, because it can be quite easy to think that it's all just taking place and things are going out, but actually showing the impact. And like you said, engaging with customers and things like that, and getting direct messages from potential clients or customers through social
Yeah.
media, you're really helping to the bottom line of the business when you're engaging in that way. So make sure
Yeah.
that you share what you're
Yeah.
doing.
And can I touch on Instagram stories
Mhm.
for a second? One of the best things that a brand can do for engagement is to use the tools that are provided inside stories. So I'm talking about the question box is a great one. You can set up a poll where people can vote this or that. You can set up a slider so people can, you can say like slide the bar if you're excited for this new product. Those things are easy ways to create engagement. And what creating that simple engagement means is that that person is interacting with your account. It's giving the algorithm a notice that that person really likes your account. They're engaging with you, and they're more likely to show your post to that person in the future. So using stories every day, if possible, with at least one of those interactive tools, will really, really help your account as far as engagement goes. And I will personally say that I use the question box a lot because it gives me ideas for what my audience is looking for. So it gives me ideas for future content pieces, for future articles, for future live streams. So the question box is really, really valuable. So that is an easy way to also tell the people that you work for, the higher ups, or if you're a VA for a small business, you can show them, again, screenshots. You can show them like, hey, I asked this question box and this is what people are interested in. So this should guide our marketing, for our future posts.
Mm.
So easy PC market research.
Yeah, that's so powerful. And like you
Yeah.
said, that's, ticking the boxes on several fronts, isn't it? For sure.
Yeah,
You
because
know,
Instagram likes it. What we want to do when we're using these social media platforms is we not only have to make our audience happy, but we have to keep the platform happy too. So if we're using the tools the platform gives us, then we're checking off both boxes, like you said.
mm, brilliant. I've got one last question for you.
Yeah.
Now that going into 2022, I wondered what
Yes.
trends that in social media you're excited to see this year.
Yeah, well, this is probably not going to be a surprise for anyone, but it's all about video this year. It has been for a while, but that's not stopping anytime soon. So, short form video like TikTok and Reels on Instagram, or even just native video within Instagram, live streams. This is really where the content platforms are all headed. Even LinkedIn, I feel like whenever I go to LinkedIn, the first post is some type of video. So it's time to lean into video if you've been shy about it. You don't have to do every post with a video with your face in it, but that it is all about videos. Reels are still incredibly popular with Instagram. TikTok is a growing platform. It's not going anywhere. So it's time to really look into how to leverage those platforms for your product or your service if you haven't already. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I want to talk on is subscriptions. Facebook has been doing subscriptions for a while. Instagram is launching subscriptions. And what that is that digital creators or business accounts can set up a subscription model right in the platform where their fans can pay a monthly fee and they get premium content from you. Um,
Oh,
yeah, so I think, subscriptions and membership communities,
mm,
these have been around for a while, but I really think that uh, the trend is we're going to see more of these. So you're going to see creators or small businesses that have their regular free platforms for everyone to follow. But if you're a super fan, maybe you pay $5 or $10 for access to exclusive items, exclusive content, chat with the owner of the company. There's various ways that you
mm,
can leverage these subscription models. So it's not necessarily something that it's not going to be right for everybody and every account, but you're going to hear about it more and more. So those are the two things right now that I think people should be paying attention to. But yeah, if someone had to ask me what's my one piece of advice going into 2022, it's definitely to leverage Reels and TikToks, that short
mm.
form video.
Okay. And just to go back to the subscription model that you
Yeah.
were talking about there, that's within the platform. So it's not taking you off to Patreon or,
Yeah.
a separate membership. So they're launching them within Instagram and
They're
Facebook.
launching them within.
Mm,
I'm going to,
mm,
this is just my personal opinion. I would not use an Instagram or Facebook subscription platform. I would take it off of the social media sites and use something like Patreon or
mm,
Circle membership, which is what SPI Pro
mm,
uses, which we how we met. So going off of a platform that you can't control, I just want to, as we kind of get towards the end of this chat, I want to remind everybody that we can't control Instagram, we can't control Facebook. We are at their mercy. So these platforms should be, top of funnel experiences that drives people to your website, to your email list, to to buy your products or services, or to your membership that's off site.
yeah.
But I do want to bring it up because if anyone's on Instagram, they've probably already heard about it. You are going to hear about it more and more specifically this year. So that's what the subscription model is. It's just basically premium content, a lot like Patreon or
Mm,
someone's a membership community that they host
mm,
on their own site. But yes, you're right. Facebook did this. I want to say they launched it a couple years ago, and it's been really successful for them.
mm,
So of course they're bringing it over to Instagram, and they're launching it with just a few select creators right now, but it's going to expand more this year. It's definitely something to think about as an additional revenue stream and as a way to reward, your VIP customers, your number one fans, the ones who are willing to spend a couple extra bucks every month to get, more content from you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting to see what's going to happen. But as you said, video
Yeah.
for certain is not
Video.
going anywhere. It's still video.
Yep, it's still video. And that's not to say, like I said, you don't have to have your face, you don't have to be talking to the camera. But definitely exploring video if you haven't already. This is the year.
Well, Mindy, thank you so much. I
Sure.
I know that you said that you can talk about social media all day, and I can too.
Yep.
So I really I really appreciate your time. And as I said, what I will do is make sure on the notes that we add all of the suggestions you've made for the tools and technology, and we'll definitely make sure that we add your template as well, because I think that will come in super handy for everybody. So for now, thank
Yeah.
you so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Nikki. And again, anyone is welcome to slide into my DMs anytime. I love talking about social media. So at Influencer Education, or my main Disney account, if that's your jam, is at Fairy Tale Mindy. So please reach out to me. Let me know you saw me in Nikki's community, and I'm happy to answer any specific questions that you might have.
Thank you. Thanks so
Yeah,
much,
thank you.
Mindy. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us for our Ask the Expert session tonight. We are back with you on Thursday this week for a live Q&A with Monique Hellstrom. So I hope you can join us then. For now, take care and good night.